know, Tim, maybe you shouldn't have clicked I agree on the Jim Crow terms of service. Maybe you should have read the fine print instead of scrolling all the way down on the Jim Crow TOS and just going accept. And you know what? Sure, yes, you can read and use my data to find out what user preferences are. That EULA, you should have read it. Should have read it. Too bad you scrolled past it, you know?
What a dumb bitch.
It even has that thing when you scroll to the bottom where it waits for the accept button to appear for a couple seconds just to make sure, you know? And you're like, yada, yada, yada.
And if you don't sign it, you're just not allowed to use the product and you just stay in the womb.
That's correct.
You just stay in there.
But you agreed. You signed up for it. What more can we say, you know? You should have just declined it.
Like, I saw the tweet the second it happened. Like, it popped up within like 1 minute. And I sat there for 15 minutes trying to think up something witty to say. And I just ended up saying, nah, and just retweeted it with just like, fuck off. Fuck off, Tim.
Well, I happen to be like not but a week out from the last version of the tweet, which was, I believe, the Wi-Fi warrior struggle has now reached civil rights.
Oh.
So people complaining about the fact that they're on Wi-Fi and no one on tech end wants to play with them anymore. We're talking about, there was literally complaints and to the level of it's like segregating black people. And I'm like,
so
yep,
you know what?
Thanks, random internet.
You know what the best part of the Wi-Fi thing is? It's been a thing in Tekken lately because they put the indicator, right? But there's the I can't play any games anymore because, you know, people don't want to play with me because I'm on Wi-Fi. There's a hidden inference to that which really shows off what the Wi-Fi Ethernet thing is actually about. And I have good Wi-Fi, you don't know, whole thing. Because some of these people are legitimately not being able to get into matches. And that's because even though Wi-Fi players represent 30, 40, 50%, the hidden secret is that other Wi-Fi players also don't want to play Wi-Fi players. They only want to play Ethernet players.
This is the brilliance of what's happening. It is extremely satisfying because that indignation comes wrapped in a blanket of I don't want to play against myself either. 100%.
Well, I have the good Wi-Fi. It's everyone else's Wi-Fi that's the bad Wi-Fi. So I can play with Ethernet players, no problem.
So you know how when you go to play soccer with your friends and then you see there's that guy on the team that has boxing gloves on and he's just going to start swinging at you while you're playing the match? Right. Well, aware, yes. If you have somebody that comes on your team with boxing gloves, then they don't want to play anymore. They can only play their game swinging punches at you while you play soccer if no one else is doing so. It's kind of amazing because you get to watch how every argument that they make about it's not a big deal fall apart when clearly two people with horrible packet consistency cannot play anything resembling a normal game, and it starts to bother them too.
Well, it's their fault. They're ruining it with their bad internet.
But they feel confident as long as one of you has decent connections, so they're leeching off of that and just bringing their own shit to the show. and that's and you know and like and you're expected to just deal with it and take it.
It all comes back to the fact that everybody always knew the argument was, which was the real argument here is, but me, but me though. And so I'll say it here. Wi-Fi players that won't play other Wi-Fi players but want to keep playing Wi-Fi are the type of person that would hide a zombie bite from the group.
Mm-hmm.
Or go to your grandma's funeral and say, oh, I just have allergies, and then cough on everyone in your extended family and give them the COVID. They should not be trusted.
I mean, quite frankly, you know, that guy was right in that it is exactly like segregation and civil rights, and Wi-Fi players are like, yeah, it's like with black people, except instead of not wanting to be a slave, the black person was like, I want to run the plantation.
Me.
I want to run it.
Keep doing that slavery.
You're all gonna keep picking, but I'm the one in charge, and this is bullshit because I'm not running the plantation. Emancipate me.
Just me, though.
Only me.
It's you know you know how everybody, like, older people are more wise or whatever and all that crap, and this, I mean, it's weird to apply it to this, but as I've gotten older, I have discovered that a huge part of wisdom is, do you remember all those little things that people would do that weren't the biggest deal in the world? Just these little annoying things that people would do,
yeah,
that they would irk you.
Mm-hmm.
And people would, you'd be like really annoyed, but people would tell you, it's not that big of a deal, man. And you'd be like, I don't know, I don't like that guy, right? As I've gotten older, I've discovered those things themselves aren't a big deal, but boy, do they show off. They are the symptoms of a way bigger deal inside. The dumbass friend of yours that would like throw a tantrum every time they lost at GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the biggest deal in the world, but it shows off that they feel entitled to win, even in a group of people. That's a terrible attitude.
The person who rage quits
will only get worse from here.
The person who rage quits live in person in front of you. You know?
Yeah.
At a
like,
local.
Really?
Like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You seem to be a child with a child's emotions. This bodes poorly for the rest of your personality.
I think that's one great thing about LTG that, like, we got is an insight into what it sounds like when somebody goes through the mental hoops to just be like, I'm rage quitting, and here's why I still feel justified in doing so, because you don't deserve to get my points. You don't deserve that win. You don't deserve to get a higher ranking because of this. I'm taking that away from you because I disapprove of the way you played the game. Right? That's how you actually have to process the circumstance that just occurred, as opposed to you just sucking and losing. You have to internalize it as there is a bar of merit that you have not accomplished outside of the competition. And I'm in the right to leave and be as toxic as possible because you have not hit that merit bar.
Actually, you know what? I just realized, like, well, I'm not talking about wisdom. All I'm talking about is, like, well, as you get older, it's easier and easier to spot narcissists. It's easier and easier to spot people that are actually literally me. Mm-hmm. Me, though. Mm-hmm. And being like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
It's easier to spot them, but doesn't stop them from rising to positions of power now, does it?
Well, no. And some people never get good at spotting them. Ever. And that's sad.
Yeah, well. Or, you know, use it to their advantage. But here's what's going on.
You should never trust anybody that never makes jokes at their own expense. Self-deprecation is an important part of humility, and humility is a vital part of living a wholesome and moral lifestyle.
You know what's really fun? When I hear comedians that I listen to, they talk about how over the years you see people that start and get into the open mic scene, and they try to like kind of, you know, get what they try to crack the audience, right? And something that pops up a lot is there's always people who go, everyone has the same origin point. My friend said I was pretty funny. I used to make people laugh a lot in school. I should take a crack at this, you know? And
that's extraordinarily common.
Very, very common. And what you would end up seeing, though, is that some people would get up and find a way to tell a story in an entertaining fashion and have it work out, whatever the case is. And other people would just, you know, just rely on their antics and just, you know, crowd work, right? But something that was consistently common is the people that would come up and tell a story from the point of view of how awesome they were. And how, like, a fight happened or someone got uppity or some crazy shit went down.
I beat that dude's ass. I can't. Oh, man, it was so crazy.
And how instantaneously the crowd stops laughing and nobody's interested in what you have to say anymore because the punchline was, yeah, so I beat the fuck out of that guy. And that's the end of the story. And it's like, okay, what? Or, yeah, you know, and so that she was so fucking hot. So anyway, she came back to my place, and that was it. Like, crushed it.
Boned 10 times.
10 times. You know, and it's just like, yeah, this doesn't work at all. So, like, people just, it's not entertaining or interesting to listen to. So there's a bunch of times when fucking like football players and Jersey Shore dudes are trying to do stand-up comedy, and again, like, the premise or like even just like Vine, YouTube people, YouTube people, TikTok people, like
the TikTok gang,
right? Super young, super hot. I got a huge following because everyone wants to bang me, and I'm going to go up and try my hand at comedy, and making people laugh is going to rely on me just telling stories about how awesome I am and how lame everyone else was. And it's the least funny thing in the world. It never fucking works. Because, yeah, if you're not being self-deprecating, or at the very least understanding that making yourself sound cool is super lame, like, you have no room or business in this industry at all. You know?
I see somebody in the chat actually bring up a fairly interesting point where we say this, but Chappelle does well bragging about how rich he is in a set. And that's different. One, it's Chappelle. Chappelle could probably make anything funny. And two, Chappelle talks about how rich he is. It doesn't come off like bragging. It comes off like he is describing the unreality of being a rich person in a humorous way.
Also, he is a multi-year veteran where we saw his earliest work before he was rich, where he was describing shitty situations the same way anyone else has. The difference is that he continues to be a fucking brilliant comedian, but also has these other life experiences to put on top of it and talk about that shit now. But someone who steps up to the mic bragging from day one has no chance.
No chance. Unless they're going for, like, you know, absurdist, goofy shit. Like, you know, Gilbert Gottfried could probably go up there and brag about how many women he slept with.
Because, yeah, sure, it's Gilbert fucking Gottfried. But, like, this is why, like, rappers, like in hip-hop, anyone who's taken themselves super seriously and being braggadocious with their style will have to bring on a comedian to make the jokes. Because the rapper themselves can't also be funny while still being cool, because they got to be cool, and being the coolest has an energy that shouldn't be broken. So let me hang out with my funny friend, and my funny friend will do the skit, and then I'll just be getting credit for the comedy on the skit when it's really the comedian buddy I brought in. But I'm still cool, though. I can't be the butt of the joke, You know?
So a really good example of this is I remember a while ago 50 Cent made a series of hilarious tweets.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really, really funny because it was 50 Cent, the tough man, rapper, super millionaire, bitching about his grandma doesn't give a fuck.
He's still got to take out the garbage.
To take out her trash.
Yes.
Right? And because he's not bragging, he's just like, I can't believe this.
I am
rich,
factually a millionaire,
famous,
billion, whatever,
and my
multimillionaire.
grandma doesn't give a shit.
You find a way to self-deprecate within that realm, but like that's what it is, you know. Like if you're, and again, like you said with Chappelle, in both cases, you factually are aware of their circumstances being they have tons of fucking money. It's less of a brag and more of a just it's reality, you know. Yeah, it's an interesting observation, you know, but you definitely can smell a narcissist quite easily. I feel these days, or not even. Sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's just like, you know, it's less severe, but just lack of self-awareness. And
you know what I'll say though?
Mm-hmm.
I knew a guy, and Woolie, I think you might have known this guy, that actually damaged my ability to see other narcissists because he was the worst one.
Yeah.
It led me to the belief that, man, is this what narcissists are like? Wow.
And it's like, no, they're not always that obvious. So,
man.
Sometimes they get, because he was one that never got good at pretending to be a human being. Because like he just had the sickness and then didn't know how to mask it. But there's the ones that do know how to mask it, you know, and you get your Patrick Batemans, right?
Every single thing that came out of this guy is not. Oh man, it made me laugh. Well, I don't know what my favorite one was. You know what? No, you know what my favorite one was? Do you remember that? Do you remember that video of that cute girl playing Wii with her pants off?
Facebook
came to school
photo.
And said, "Yeah, that's my girlfriend," and we went, "No, it's not.
Yeah,
we've met your girlfriend. That's not her. No, that's her. It's the angle.
That's me driving the Hachiroku." Drifting down
in this
the corner.
magazine cover, that's me. I mean, you can't see me, but it's me.
I've edited out the face, but I'm not posting it on Facebook to say it's me. Meanwhile, it's clearly my other friend who owns this car, that's his photo. It's right there, but no, it's you though.
Every single. Oh my god, it was the funniest thing in the world.
Front page.
I don't think anyone.
Front page of Montreal Racing.
That's me right there. It's clearly not you. Well, I mean, I went down and I did it, but they had to take my my face out because I'm not licensed to drive those kind of fancy cars. You know,
man, Willie's so garbage at Street Fighter. I came over. I thought he was supposed to be good. And then we just played a few matches, and it's like, geez, like, wow, I can't believe he talks about fighting games so much, and it was so easy. Lean over. Peek down the hallway.
I have never seen a look on your face, and I will likely never see that look again, when we could hear him telling your roommate how bad he beat you.
Like,
and my mouth was just like getting wider and wider and wider, and I'm just like, oh wow. I don't even know how to describe the look on your fucking face.
Like, Shmup God Pat just leans down the hallway and sees one half of the television with the score on it, and is just like, what world where you exit a room
too big or fast,
and a hallway is enough for you to fabricate a reality, and then hope that it never gets vetted. Well, again, so he was so bad at it. He was so bad at it that, yeah, it skews what you think this type of person is going to be like.
It's the best thing ever, because that was the moment where enough was enough, and you called him out for a money match in a big public setting. And to my knowledge, that ended that money match challenge that you would not drop and would not stop bringing up, essentially ejected him from an entire group of people because he couldn't escape it.
Yes, and he never,
like,
ever,
it would come up every time, and he would never go for it.
Nope.
And everyone was like, well, why not? And so his only solution was to just leave.
And that ended his existence in our lives. And he never returned. He never accepted my money match. He disappeared into the night. And for whatever, saving face purposes, whatever the case might be, he literally was banned to the Shadow Realm. Yeah.
Now, if I remember correctly, you never rescinded that money match.
I never did. It remained open, and this was it. We're like, come sit down, let's play. And he never accepted it. He just disappeared because that was easier than facing reality, which is what a narcissist goes through on a regular basis. It's also why he is hated by entire communities across Montreal, because every time he would dive into a different, shall we say, Asian country to get a girlfriend, and then do some horrible shit and then ruin his reputation amongst that community in Montreal, everyone would talk and be like, fuck this guy. So after trying and making his way across multiple different countries, it's like, Montreal Chinese community ain't happy. Oh, Vietnam, no, they ain't happy either. How about the Cambodians? Scorched earth. All right, what else we got going on? And the legacy
I don't think you've ruined your shot with the Koreans yet, but they're talking.
The legacy of running away from burning fires as people are chasing you with their names, with your name being screamed, is not something foreign to him. So, you know, it's actually small potatoes when you consider the pettiness of, like, yeah, I'll just not accept this money match. But at the very least, you know, that served as the reason for him to never show up ever again.
So that would always, so I mean, we obviously lost contact with him after the money match, and thank God, good riddance. But all I can think of is, like, that's just obviously not viable long term. Like, but the
narcissist doesn't plan long term. That's the thing.
I know that, and then I'm like, well, what is the plan now? Like, now, 10 years later.
I mean,
wait, longer, 15 years later. Christ.
Well, it's just wake up, eat food, survive, and continue to exploit the pieces around me for my gain. What pieces do I have around me today? Okay, these people, they're still around. All right, I will exploit them. And that's all it is. There's no long term to it. It's just absolutely maximize the amount of pleasure you can get out of people on a day-to-day basis and concede nothing, you know? It's fucking fascinating because, yeah, you do need, I think everybody should have an experience like this in their lives to find out that what you assume are normal people around you, in many cases, it turns out, no, that's not. And here's somebody that would probably go through unreasonable extremes to, you know, get what they want out of a situation, but you would never know because, you know, the times are never pushing them to a place where that is revealed. So the zombie bite, as you described, you know, you never get pushed to the point where you see who would hide the zombie bite, you know, so they can blend in nicely. But this guy was so fucking bad at it that, you know.
This is the type of person who plays Wi-Fi but doesn't want to play other Wi-Fi people.
Sure.
This type of person that we are describing.
I will even say that there is a group of people that know nothing about, like, the nature of Wi-Fi and fighting games and other types of games that come into it just with no knowledge whatsoever, and they might say something like, "Hey, I run a Minecraft server. Trust me, Wi-Fi is fine." And then someone goes, "No, that doesn't work in fighting games," and they go, "Oh, I didn't know because I thought it was the same." Yeah. And then you're like, "Oh, yeah, go, okay. Oh, okay. You just didn't know."
And then you go, "Hey, what's your Minecraft server? We'll create a little bridge together." Mm-hmm. I don't know what people do in Minecraft. I still don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that that's what ended it. I didn't remember what it was.
You killed him.
I didn't remember murdering that dude. I thought I really just...
Because you tagged every person we knew on Facebook with that. That was your entire Facebook list. It was like 80 to 100 people. Including people that didn't know him.
I tagged everybody.
You tagged everyone. You forgot that?
Oh, fuck, yeah.
Like,
yeah, I got
everyone.
Yeah, no, I brought family in on that shit. I got it. We tagged the whole crew. Everybody got an alert.
He had to leave. He had to leave.
Everyone got an alert. I forgot about that.
And the only person who stuck by him that he brought out of that group with him was another friend of ours from back in the day who had a bad habit of kicking the PS2 off when your super went through that would win the match. Mm-hmm. I vividly remembered the day that I went, this person's probably an asshole, when I hit them with K's sunglasses in King of Fighters 11, and it was going to win the match, and he kicked the PS2 off so that I wouldn't actually get to see the win. And I went, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, you know you won anyway." I'm like,
yeah. That's when you guys were, if I'm not mistaken, that was, you were arguing A, and they were arguing B, and then when A was proven correct, then...
That was the funniest thing ever. Oh my god. Yeah, I was arguing with them, and I was arguing, let's say, blue, and they were arguing red. And then I clearly won the argument, and then they told you the story as if the positions were reversed and how stupid I was. And then you asked me about it that day afterwards, and I was like, what the actual fuck?
It's just a simple, it's the easiest fact check in the world, you know?
Because I remember you asked me because the positions didn't make sense when they were reversed, because you knew that I thought this and he thought that.
That day, if our positions were switched, would you have my life and I yours? Well, he did switch the positions. It's pretty embarrassing. Yeah.
Oh well.
No, man. What you want to do in those situations is not do that. Don't shit your ass in front of everybody.
Don't.
By saying something that silly. Don't shit your ass.
Don't. Hey, listen. Listen real careful. Listen real careful to the words that I'm saying.
Because everyone will know when it's all I gotta do.
When that happens, don't shit your pants. And when people try and help you out of the situation after you've shit your pants, don't try and fight them to the point where you slash your hands on the broken bathroom mirror that you punched in your drunken tirade.
Metaphorically, don't metaphorically do that.
Metaphorically,
don't do that.
Piss and shit yourself and cover yourself in slash marks on the floor of the bathroom.
Because then all I have to do is call and be like, "Hey, did you actually say that?" And then you'd be like, "No, I said the other thing." And then it's like, "Oh shit, okay."
And definitely don't metaphorically do all that at the party of the girl you like's house.
Metaphorically.
Don't do that. You know
So
what else is? You know what else is a metaphor you shouldn't do? Don't actively pretend that you're gay so that your friend will let you get away with shit because she doesn't think you're looking at her or hitting on her. Metaphorically. Bad metaphor to do.